Good. Dani Habibi, أخبارك? How's everything?
Hala, all good, all good. How are you?
Very good, very good. I'm very happy to have you here in Emerge Podcast. Let me tell you a little bit more about the theme of this season, which we talked about. It's called Graduated. We're mainly focusing on highlighting founders from emerging market, particularly ones that went through different stages that felt like the stage before and the stage after is completely different in nature. And I want to highlight that the founder stories are very complex, and we share a journey together, given we are the same portfolio of a very dear investor.
Yes,
So I'm very, very excited to talk to you about it and also hear your opinion about everything.
amazing.
So that's for the sake of the podcast, like just do from your own mouth, tell us an introduction about yourself and about the company. I don't like to do the introductions myself, I feel like
Yeah, for sure,
will not do you a favor.
for sure. Dani El-Zein, founder of Supy and co-founder of Supy. We are basically software for restaurants. We do everything that has to do with inventory management, procurement, and intelligence for restaurants. We operate mostly with multi-branch restaurant operators. So typically anyone who has more than 10 outlets all the way up to 300 is kind of the ideal fit for our product. We started off in Dubai, being today our strongest market, and we expanded into 4 core markets, I would say. APAC, we have an office in Australia, which is now our fastest growing market, followed by the UK, second fastest growing market, and then Dubai being the stronghold, holding the 4th, and Saudi in Riyadh. We are present in 42 countries, obviously thanks to SEO, GEO, everything that you can do with AI today. I mean, meaning a few clients in different countries, but this really shows the power of the internet, the power of AI, the power of go-to-market. And that's a quick overview of us as a company and me. I mean, I can talk for a long time, but I think that's enough.
That sounds good. I will let you talk a lot, don't worry about it. And I mean, when I look at your profile, I'm trying to stitch it together, right? Like from merger and acquisition and investment banking all the way to restaurant tech, right? Draw for us this line, like how you moved from this to that, what got you graduated to the founder world, like what got you there?
Look, I always wanted to have my own. It was always hard for me to work for someone. Even in college and university, I was in Boston. I went to university in the States. I did a lot there. That was entrepreneurship. I mean, promoting at nightclubs, making money here and there, renting apartments for students. So I did a lot, concierge service for international students coming to Boston.
Yes.
So that was, I would say, the start of entrepreneurship for me, really, when I was in college. But then obviously, coming from being Lebanese and, having grown up in a culture where, you want to be, you either have to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a banker. That was also embedded in my DNA from a very young age. So I opted for banking and finance. I applied to many jobs. It wasn't a passion. I thought it was back then one of the best paying jobs. So I went for it. And I was an engineer. And they were saying that engineers are liked in finance. It's easy to get a job if you have an engineering degree. It's true. It worked back in the days. Today, maybe not the case. Maybe not the sexiest job anymore. But that's how I ended up in banking. Mergers and acquisition wasn't by choice either. It was just what was available, what I got accepted in. And it was a great job. It was a great start because it teaches you a lot of discipline. It teaches you, till today I don't have a CFO. Financial modeling is something that we did over and over and over again for like 6 years. And you're doing it for someone else. So obviously when it comes to your turn where you need to do it for yourself, you're not going to let anyone else do it. You've done it for hundreds of companies.
Exactly.
But that kind of, this is why I moved into banking. And then I made the switch when, actually before Supy, I left banking and I joined a company from the UK who expanded here. I helped them in launching the market. It's called QuickUp, last mile logistics company. So I was employed by them initially. And in parallel, I had a restaurant called Lacarnita.
Mm.
So all of this together, like being in a, working for a startup here, having a restaurant, and then I saw an opportunity and I decided to build my own software for my restaurant, and that's how really I graduated into becoming a founder, or the owner of my own business.
Yeah. And tell us more about the restaurant. Like what was it?
So it was a complete flop. That's one.
That's a start,
We're just breaking even for 7 years. So it can look all nice on the outside. We won a lot of Time Out awards. On the outside it looked good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we almost never paid the dividend, which is sad.
Mm.
That I would say kind of traumatized me.
Yeah.
It was a lot of money, and I decided to dig deep into why are costs high, and obviously the highest cost was food cost, followed by entertainment, followed by labor costs. So nothing was working from all the different, in a P&L of a restaurant. What should be what's the norm for food costs? What's the norm for labor costs? What's the norm for rent? What's the norm for entertainment? We were just above everything. So even though we were making healthy top line, bottom line was non-existent. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And I decided to dig deep into food cost.
Yeah.
And that's what we are today. Like, people do call us a food cost system, but we're way more than that. But we do food cost.
I'm fascinated by anything restaurant related. I watch cooking shows.
Me too.
One of my favorite shows, The Bear. I even in one of MoneyHash offsites about culture, I was showing them the difference between execution and Michelin star versus non-Michelin star. Because for me, a restaurant that figured out their operations, probably best business run ever. It's just too complex and too hard to do. So even operating it for 7 years, that's a journey, man. That's fantastic. That's crazy. Breaking even for 7 years is still a huge.
We didn't lose.
It's a huge achievement.
So
that's awesome.
Thanks.
And then what about the psychology of taking the decision itself? So you tried to figure out but the step of I'm gonna do the company, right?
Look, I'll tell you, my perspective. I think there's two types of people in this world, right? For me, from day one in my career, from the age of 21 when I joined banking, I was never satisfied with the work. I got promoted young, I got promoted early, I made good money, but I was never satisfied. Having, working for, having a manager or working for my boss is something I found very difficult. And nothing made me content, right? The work was very robotic. It was the same thing every day. You learn a lot, definitely. I appreciate all my days working for other people and every job that I did. But deep down, you go back. I went back home and I wouldn't look forward to the next day. And I knew that, the people there's a lot of people like that today that are, working in other companies that it's not their own companies. And nothing was changing. It was I left banking, even in the startup gig that I joined, I was never content, and I wasn't stimulated enough to innovate, think, create, and eventually, I thought, what, I've tried everything. And the second I launched my own, everything changed. Every day, I'm so excited for the next day. Sometimes I don't get bored if I don't have, anything to think about, to do more, and everything we do in Supy, pre-pivot, post-pivot, everything we do is satisfying. A small compliment from a restaurant is satisfying. Even a restaurant complaining is not satisfying, but at the same time, it's something that will, motivate us to do better. So I guess it's just what gets you excited. Some people, they will get excited about their job the next day. Some people are, they don't mind. Some people just can't. And I was one of those who just couldn't get excited for my job pre-Supy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like finding this drive, right? Like you kind of found the drive and it
100%.
took you there. That's awesome. That's awesome. But you mentioned the pivot, so that's a really good,
Yeah,
especially for the theme, right? Like because practically you started on something, then you graduated to something completely different.
that too.
Fantastic expansion of the product. Congrats.
Thank you.
And then going from regional to global, that's a hell of a graduation, right? So tell us more about it. Tell us like how it started, where it's heading now. It's very exciting to hear about.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're still very young. I mean, we're still not. I mean, yes, we are global, but at the very early days of our global expansion. Look, when we launched today, Supy, I would say is a platform that has a bunch of features. A bunch meaning over 1,000 features in our system, in our software. When I launched the software, I launched with one feature. And my initial plan wasn't really to tackle food costs in the way that we've tackled it now, which is, building a AI-powered inventory management system. My way of tackling food cost was initially thinking that, supplier prices is what impacts the food cost in a restaurant mostly, and wastage is done because of the way that people put orders to their vendors in restaurants. So, although I did have a restaurant, I mean, obviously we flopped, so I didn't know that much. But the second I got deep into the operation and we worked in the restaurant and we launched, our first feature pre-pivot, we learned. So the journey pre-pivot was very different. And then I realized that what I was doing, although we had a lot of traction, didn't have real value for clients. We had a lot of clients, people were using it, but they weren't going to be sticky clients. And I could see that, what's the lifetime value of these customers? Do I need to keep acquiring customers that are going to keep churning? Yeah. Or is my product not good enough? So we were in the cycle of very aggressive acquisition, not enough retention, and, high churn. Yeah. In the early days, I'm talking 2021. We launched in 2021, but we had very quick traction in 2021, 2022. And then we had to be true to ourselves as founders, me and my co-founder. We had to be true to ourselves and understand that, what we're doing, even though, the charts and the graphs look good and investors are happy, and we just raised a seed round that was, quite good. We raised $8 million in seed funding. 2-3 months after that raise, we had to be true to ourselves by acknowledging that long term, this is not going to work. What we're doing doesn't have a real market to it. And, having operated for 2 years in that space, or a year and a half with restaurants, we understood the market way more than we thought pre-launch. And that's when one day one of my customers told me, "Hey, Dani, I'm going to use who today is one of my competitors. I'm going to implement this software." And we had already started development on something similar pre-pivot. And I told him, "Wait, I'm going to have what you want in 3 months' time." So that day was the start of our official pivot. Nice. Even though we were building, we stopped everything we did. Yeah. I wouldn't say wasted, but yeah, we probably wasted a good 2 years, year and a half, building a completely different business. And yeah, I'm so glad that we took that decision. And I'm so glad that our investors supported us, even though, I had sold them a completely different story, pre-pivot. And today, yeah, we are, I would say, one of the fastest growing inventory management system in the region. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And I mean, on the part related to wasting years, right? Like, because after all, you got to walk in a road to find what you found. Would you replace these 2 years if you can?
I wouldn't replace them, but if I were to build a business again, yeah, I would really know more my market before I go after it. And I would really have product market fit, PMF, but not early signs of PMF, real PMF before raising funds. I raised funds. I didn't have real PMF. I thought I did. I had early signs of PMF. I had traction, but I don't think the game is to raise funds, because we shouldn't have raised those funds. So if I am to do something again, I need, much more, to be much more conscious and aware of the market that I'm going after. Wasted, no, definitely not, because thanks to everything, the team that we built is the same team. So it wasn't really wasted. The pivot was more of what we built initially, we kept in product because it was procurement. We just built on top of it and took a new direction versus keep building in a different direction.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, for me, it's a little bit different. I feel like if I don't know if I would start again or not. I feel like the journey is too exhausting. But if I would start a different business or do it again, I am in total agreement with you. I feel like many founders, including us as first-time founder, you don't know if the signals you have are product market fit or not.
True.
That's a common theme across first-time founders kind of situation. But tell us about the global move as well. So like when we talk about drive, for me, what drove me to start a business is ceiling breaking. Like for me, I feel like growing in the Middle East and looking for jobs, you always need to find like an international company or leave the region to work on a global scale and find like exciting opportunities, right?
Yeah.
And for me to build a software company from within the region and go global was like a dream for me. Like and every time I see we're hiring people around the region and doing that, that's what drives me. That's like the fact that this wasn't available for myself and it's now available and like I'm enabling it. So taking these steps. So looking at your company and seeing that you went to global, I'm in full admiration. Like for me, not a lot of companies from the region can take this bold step of taking software globally.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that we hear about a lot. How did you take that decision? What went into it?
Honestly, it was it was a bold move. Our first international expansion was in Australia, in Melbourne, actually in Brisbane. Was our first client outside the region, so outside the GCC. We got banned on Google Ads in 2022, up until a couple of months ago. So we've been living without Google Ads for all this time.
Wow.
And constraint creates creativity, right? So we had to be, and I'm not going to get through why we got banned. Competitor raised something that's extremely unethical from founders. No need to get into the details of that because we've solved it now, thank God. And constraint creates creativity. Yeah. So we couldn't advertise on Google, so we focused a lot on, back then, SEO, today GEO. We focused a lot on SEO. So we invested so much in everything that had to do with organic search. And today we rank for over 2,000 keywords on Google across all big markets globally. And that helped us get inbound leads from different markets in the world. So when I say we're present in 42 countries today, it's not because we actively sell in these markets. We actively sell today in 4 markets. Yeah. But we get inbound leads. Like, as I said, we just signed a client in Hawaii, an extremely reputable brand, a Psy brand in Hawaii that has over 1,000 locations globally. But we signed that franchise in Hawaii. Yeah. They're super happy clients. Not that we're focusing on Hawaii. That wouldn't, we should also stay core to the markets we're in. Yeah. But we had this inquiry from a client in Australia. I happened to have taken the meeting back then because it was really early in the morning, 4 a.m. our time, I think, here in Dubai. And we had a beautiful call with the owner. The owner turns out to be the ex-founder of a very well-established brand in Australia that he had sold, and he was starting a new brand. And he was looking for software. So he was very well-versed on what we do. He knew exactly what he wanted. He had seen all the global competitors. And when he landed on our software and when I ran the demo with him, he sent me a very nice message after saying that actually the message was nice for me, but not nice to others. But it was just complimenting everything we did. He said that he had never seen a software that would solve a lot of the pain points that they have as a large operator. And he ended up signing with us. And he started referring us to other people in the country over there. I ended up making a trip, spent 6 weeks in Australia, hired our general manager there.
Wow.
And we realized, so it wasn't really planned. And my investors were quite shocked. And what are you doing in Australia?
Yeah.
Nobody complained. They all trusted, and there wasn't any objections. But it was, that was our first move. And that's when really I got the confidence that, you know what, halfway across the world, the same software is selling. And what's preventing me from doing more? Obviously, capital, right? Like we pivoted, so we were kind of, I'm not going to say survival mode, but we had to really, build good revenue before we could fundraise. And that was the start of our international expansion.
Yes.
From Australia, we did UK after. Again, the same investor who pushed me told me, look, you have a British passport. Why don't you spend the summer in London? I told him, why not? I like London. I'll go spend the summer there.
Yeah.
So that was summer of 2024.
Nice.
Same thing. We eventually launched, Jan 2025 in London. And that was the start of international expansion. Then Hong Kong happened. And I think these are the markets we're now focusing on.
That's awesome.
With people on the ground.
Yeah. That's great.
Thank you.
And it kind of checks that you spend summer outside of Dubai. So.
That too.
Yeah, right.
People don't know that, but I was like, definitely
London works. But I mean, I think something fascinating you're talking about is like, because you needed to almost rebuild a company with whatever capital you have.
Exactly.
To the revenue level, to the PMF level, because before you expand, and everyone trusted you before, had to kind of trust you again and empower you through the new phase, which is fantastic. And I mean, let's talk about, all founders are obsessed with fundraising and investment and fundraising, and there is good things and bad things about it. And feel free to get as controversial as you can get, because after all, like as a founder, I didn't hear from other founders a lot, except like that fundraising and investment is like terrible and annoying and this and that, and then eventually you build fantastic relationships through it, and you will also go through horror shows as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
How was the journey of dealing with capital and investors through this pinball machine?
Look, I mean, when you start a business, I think fundraising initially is an obsession. And I started having this belief that raising money is a success, and to me today it's the complete opposite. I don't think that raising money is a success. I'm prolonging my fundraise as much as I can. It's been a while we didn't go to market, and I think that you need to try and do things, prove the engine, prove the unit economics, understand exactly every single growth lever that you have in the business, whether it's on growth, like the growth levers for growing the business, or whether it's the growth levers for building product, like everything. Really understanding the business, the unit economics need to make sense, and then go out and fundraise. And that's what I'm doing now. It's been a while we didn't go to market for fresh funds from new investors, and I didn't want to do it before I knew that if I spend X dollars, I'm going to get Y dollars back. If I spend X in marketing, I get Y back. If I spend X in sales, I get Z back. If I spend... So these things are very important. And when you have data, then you can project your business a bit more. Obviously, coming from banking and M&A, this is what I did, right? Projecting, forecasting.
Yeah.
And people shouldn't just think that fundraising is a success, because how many articles you see today and all of these press releases from seed stage funding, even Series A funding, Series B, and then you see a complete shutdown of the company. You never hear from them again. So I think people need to humble down a bit and appreciate every dollar that's given to them to do more. I always say do more with less. That's something that I always say internally in the company.
So
that's my view on fundraising. And I don't think that the mentality of raise as much as you can is right.
Yeah.
That's kind of the mindset that I was taught. Raise as much as you can. But then it's a long journey. So you don't want to get diluted, because you raise as much as you can, you get diluted as much as you can.
True.
So we need to be incentivized as founders. Or else what's the incentive of, going through this journey? It's a lonely journey to be a founder.
Yeah.
So what's the incentive if you're not, if you don't own a big chunk of your business?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my view on like fundraising. I don't think you should raise as much as you can.
Fair.
I don't like that sentence.
I mean, I will switch gears because you mentioned something. I want to like jump into it and then get back to the investment piece, which is the lonely journey of founders. This word I remember like almost on a monthly basis, right? Especially like it is an extremely lonely journey. Like it gets lonely with time. You kind of get alienated with time because you end up in different layers of the company, and you play and everything has some flavor of conflict of interest kind of thing. How are you managing this? How you deal with the lonely job of founders?
Good question. How do I deal with it?
If you're dealing with it as well.
Look, obviously I deal with it in so many different ways, but being like when I mentioned lonely journey, it means nobody really ever understands what's going on in your mind every day, because you're constantly trying to be ahead of yourself. You're constantly trying to push for more, innovate for more. You're hiring on one front, you're evaluating people's performance on another front, you're dealing with clients, you're acquiring, you're retaining clients, you're firefighting with clients, you're firefighting on tech, on bugs, on a crash that can happen. We had a massive crash. And you have no one to really talk to about this, because your friends won't get it. Your circle around you, your family, maybe some people would, but in general, unless it's a founder, they won't understand what's going on, and they won't understand why sometimes you're not focused as a person. Sometimes, I don't know, I'd be having a conversation with someone and I just don't even know what they said, because like my mind is just somewhere else. And same thing with, with on group chats, on like social, like when I'm out. So it's ups and downs. Even sometimes when you're in your best days and you've had, the best closures, or, you've achieved something big, whatever it is in the business, you want more. How can you do more? It's like, and then people don't understand. Like, sometimes my team internally doesn't understand, why is Dani not happy? I am happy, but what we did is good. But if we want to shine and be an outlier, good is not good enough.
I see.
Great is what we want to strive for. And it's the same thing. Like that's why we're constantly, thinking and about what can we do better, what can we do more, how can we improve.
100%. I mean, for dealing with the lonely journey, I feel I was surprised. I asked about it a lot among my friends, like when I meet any founders and stuff, especially like in stages in which like mental health wasn't great, and you kind of want to understand how people deal with it. And there was a funny moment in it, because I asked multiple people about like founder burnout. In a stage I was personally burned out, and there is this famous video for Sam Altman in one of the sessions for YC, in which he's saying like, well, it is what it is, and kind of like push through it. There isn't much to do in that case. But I feel like there is every founder kind of grab energy from a different source, and it's good that you're aware of what works for you, which is awesome.
Look, I mean, I agree. It is what it is, and if you're not made for it, then don't do it, because, like, it sucks. It sucks, but I love it. Like I would do it over and over and over and over again. I love it, but. It's lonely and it sucks, but you can love something that sucks. Like, why not? It's controversial. And it's not for everyone. Like, you know, sometimes people don't understand that. Like, what do you mean it sucks, but you love it? Yeah, I love what I do. And like, I want to build Supy not for the next 3 years, 5 years. I want to build Supy to become a global leader in restaurant software. And we have massive ambitions, and we want to do it forever. And I mean, not forever, obviously. You know, there's hopefully you need to give returns to your investors someday, but we are really looking long term. And it's not. You need to be okay with this. So what you said about Sam Altman, I agree with him.
Yeah,
it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. But
no, 100%. I get your point, and I mean, you don't need, like, I agree with you on the part, like, you don't need to do things for enjoyment. Like, sometimes there is things that will be tormenting and difficult and stuff, and you still kind of love it, and you still kind of figuring out to the healthy level, of course. Like,
yes.
Where you don't break. We don't want you to break.
No.
Right. No.
I do ice bath every day before work. Like, that's also maybe some kind of.
I heard great things. I never thought I can do it. Do you recommend it?
100%. Like, it's funny. Like, I do quite high temperature. Like, I do 10 to 12 degrees. So it's not really the ones that people go in for 1 minute. And to me, it's like the only 15 minutes I spend every morning where your brain shuts down. Why? Because you need to focus on your breathing to survive in that ice bath for 15 minutes. So you're meditating, and it's hard to meditate as a founder because, again, you never stop thinking. Yeah. But when you're in this ice bath, I found that because I'm working so hard on my breath and on my breath work and breathing, that I'm actually like not thinking about anything but breathing. Like, I listen to my breath. Inhale, exhale. I time them. Sometimes it's like 2 minutes. I hold my breath. And this is, to me, the best kind of, meditation, I guess. And I leave in the morning pumped for work.
Yes.
And then people ask me, how do you not get cold?
That's a very basic question.
No, it's hard to explain. I think I'm like obsessed with ice baths.
Yeah.
But it's like you need this dopamine to meditate, which is weird, but
yeah. I can't imagine doing it, man. Like,
there's sauna also, that's good.
Yeah. Kudos to the discipline, but I feel like it will take me a while to maybe try it, but
you should come with me on the weekend. Weekend is nice and chilled.
Okay, we'll work on that. I will grow the courage for it and call you, which will be cool.
Deal.
Let's get back to the investment piece. Like, I don't know what's your school about investor giving advice.
Yeah.
I'm in the school of I don't like investor giving advice unless they were operators or very seasoned investors. That's my point of view, because I feel like it's an industry of judgment and quick judgments, while we have data and we have complexity and stuff. Like, the founder usually can reach to a much nuanced judgment unless they are dealing with a very seasoned investor or kind of an operator. In that case, then there is a philosophy to play. What's your take? What's what advice that helped you? What didn't? What do you see from like the whole investment advice?
Look, I agree with you. But investors don't know better than a founder in certain areas. However, I do brainstorm a lot with my investors, and I like their advice when I ask for their advice. And I ask for their advice when we catch up every quarter over performance. And I ask them, what do you think about this? To me, the investors that I deal with, I love every person from every VC fund that I work with, and they're like all co-founders to me. And I bounce off ideas of them, and they're not judgmental. That's the thing. If you're able to have, and I've heard what you said from a lot of other founders, like my investors just give me too much advice. They tell me what to do all the time. Mm-hmm. I didn't live that, so to me but if I was in your shoes, in any founder's shoes, being bombarded with advice, I'd agree. But for me, I've built this relationship with my investors where, I tell them clearly, hey guys, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what we want to do more of. These are the products we're like building over the next year. Can we have a brainstorm? Can we think together? What shall we do more? So like last week, one of my investors told them, look, doubling the business this year is not enough. You need to think of tripling the business. And then another one of my investors, I was at the street, told me the rule of thumb is triple, double.
Yeah.
So like one investor is telling me you need to triple, another investor is telling me triple, double. And I'm like telling my team double. So I'm like, okay, I'm down. I love this challenge.
Yeah.
What do we do? This is how much runway we have. This is when we want to fundraise. These are the markets we operate in. My investor said, all right, we're in the business of risk, not me. I mean, of course we are. My investor said, we're in the business of risk. This is called venture. So if you're not going to venture, if you're not going to take more risk, obviously we're already taking a lot of risk, but we decided to shave off a few months of our runway.
Yeah.
Increase marketing budgets by significantly.
Yeah.
Participate in 5 times more trade shows than we were supposed to this year. By significantly increasing marketing budgets, I mean 50%. Hiring in all the markets that we're present in. And yes, we do have a certain number of months of runway, which is, it's quite healthy, and our burn is quite low in general. But, this was advice, and I took it and I did it. And again, like 3 years ago, when we pivoted, I told the same thing to one of my investors, hey, we're about to pivot. Like, what do we do? We have this many employees. And he told me, Dani, you're pivoting. You need to you need to make certain people redundant. It's not your fault. Like I took a tough decision, and that was probably the toughest decision I had to take. But that was advice. Again, SVB, our money got stuck in SVB the second we fundraised. And all 100% of our funds. And who do I go to? Of course, I wanted advice on what to do. So I wanted advice on what to do on the SVB, and I took advice from investors. I even took advice from my dad on like, what are the outcomes, him being a seasoned investment banker as well. So that was, I am all for advice, but less so when someone enforces advice. There's a difference, right?
Yeah. No, I get you. And it's like, we have our mutual friend Amir, who like did me a huge favor of always reminding me that it's my journey.
Yes.
Which is a very simple 2 words, but someone need to remind you with them. You will be in the middle of like listening to noise here, noise there. And my cap table is big, so like I have like a lot of investors. Some are like hands off, some are hands on, some are experienced in sectors that is relevant, some are experienced in sectors that is not relevant. So like when I go for the sounding board, the experience, I get a lot of input, and it can be extremely overwhelming. And he helped me grounding myself on the idea of like just remembering the fact that it's my journey and stuff. And I love that you're doing the sounding board a lot between your father and the investors, and probably your team as well. It's like good collective effort in that regard. Let's maybe switch gears a little bit and talk about superpowers. This is something I really believe in. And you mentioned something about the modeling and stuff, which is like relying on something that you're really good at. I feel like every investor, every founder, every employee have like 2-3 things that they are really good at, and they start with they ground them and stuff. For me, I come from an academic background, so I'm like super analytical, thorough in my research. Like, so I always like research heavily, data, kind of like obsession there. What's yours? What is the one that's like driving all of this?
I don't know. I'm just so competitive.
Yeah.
I've always been really competitive in sports, in school, and grades, and everything.
Nice.
I think that's my superpower. Is I always want to be doing better than the person next to me. I always want to win. Yeah, I think that's probably like my superpower. Financial modeling you know, I wouldn't say superpower, but being
more of an asset or a
more
skill. Yeah.
more of a skill. But I think like the drive I have comes from being competitive. Maybe because I'm the younger brother also in the family. Like I always looked. I'm the youngest of my cousins, so I always look. As a kid, I always wanted to compete and, you know, be like them.
Yeah.
Or be better than them.
Yeah.
And that's my superpower.
That's very interesting because I'm the youngest and I'm the least competitive in my family. You know, but I understand. You when you grow up with kids, especially in a high caliber family, like with parents' expectation, you want to compete. But I think like it was very funny. Like I heard that, and then you said competitive, and I was like, oh, I didn't feel that when I. Yeah.
Even in school, I mean, I'm born in November, so I was always a year younger than everyone.
I see.
So same thing, like.
So there was always this pressure, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, when you're 10 years old, if someone's 11, that's big age gap.
Yeah.
It's not like when you're 30 and someone's 31, or when you're 28 and someone's 29.
I see.
When you're 10 and someone's 11, that's huge.
Yeah.
When you're 14 and someone's 15, that's huge.
Yeah.
So same thing in varsity and football. Like I was always the youngest one. You know, to make the team, I had to really overprove myself. I was, I used to compete in ski. You know, I was in the Lebanese national team. Yeah. So, like even there, like I was always the youngest, and actually, I'm just thinking about this now. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really cool. And what about hiring? Because that's kind of the bread and butter of our job, right?
Oh man, that's like there's not one day that goes without talking or thinking or interviewing or hiring.
We pitch to talent more than we pitch to investors, and that's a secret of the job, right?
Yeah.
It's
funny. Yesterday, someone on LinkedIn messaged me. Someone Lebanese who works for a competitor, and said, "Hey, I'm very proud to see that there's a software that's Lebanese that has grown to this level."
Yes.
And then I just straight away told him, "Hey man, if you know anyone who wants to join from your company,
always hiring, right?
Let me know." And he's like, "Who should they reach out to? Do you have an HR inbox?" I told him, "No, let them reach out to me. This is my email, Dani@supy.io. So if anyone's watching and wants to talk,
exactly,
we always want to sell."
Yeah.
Hiring is just the hardest thing. Like until now, we didn't perfect it.
Yeah. I don't know if it can be perfected, really, right? Because you're figuring out your journey along the way. So like navigating uncertainty and pitching also risk. Like for investors, you can calculate a little bit of the risk, but calculating the risk for an employee is a bit. That's the hardest part on me, at least. It's like the part in which you actually communicate some of your passion and belief to the person, but you're kind of taking them with you on like a very uncertain journey, So
as long as you're like very honest with,
yeah, exactly.
I'm always so transparent with the team, maybe too transparent, but they know everything.
That's good.
Tell them this is where we are, this is where we need to be. If we don't reach this is what happens. We're all in this together.
Yeah. Well, speaking of employees, there is a new employee in town, the AI one.
Oh yeah.
That we all have to manage all of a sudden and get scared of, but like it in the same time, kind of thing. And we spoke before this interview, and you mentioned these fantastic things you managed to do with AI, especially in go-to-market and going global and facilitating stuff. Let's get into that. Like, tell us what.
Look,
did you do?
Yeah, it's a bit of a secret weapon. Maybe, what did you call it before? A superpower?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's our superpower, but we've done so much on the AI side. And I'm not going to say everything that we did, but basically we leverage AI. We've built something called a context operating system, which is a living source of data intelligence, which absorbs. Basically, why do I call it a living source of data intelligence? Is because today, if you prompt ChatGPT to write an email for you, it's going to write an email. And that information that ChatGPT has is static. You're feeding it with certain information. hey, my company is this and that, and this is what we do, and I want an email sent to the CEO of this company, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's going to draft an email. This is static. It's not living, meaning the data, the intelligence. It's not. How can you augment that? So to augment that, and to think of, having a living source of data intelligence, you need to basically have a prompt that's able to send an email or to anyone with context that is live to yesterday. If I started winning deals today because there's a new regulation in the UAE about e-invoicing, and all of a sudden my sales team, someone has spoke about it during a sales call that's recorded, everyone needs to know about it in the company.
Yeah.
Every single content that gets produced on ads needs to have e-invoicing in it. So what does this context OS do? This context OS will now generate an ad, because the likelihood of closing a deal now is higher if this is mentioned. It's going to send automatic coaching to every single salesperson in the company. This is what we're launching now in the next week.
Nice.
Based on every day is different.
Yeah.
You don't have static sales coaching. You don't have static best practices. This moves and evolves as your company evolves and as the market evolves. So yeah, what we're trying to build is a living source of data intelligence that can empower and augment all the AI being used in all the different teams, product, tech, marketing, sales. We're testing.
Nice.
I'm not going to say we're there yet, but it's this has become my passion. And what do I do on the weekends now when I have free time is play around with a lot of this stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, first, we want to steal it.
Yeah, for sure.
We got to borrow it at least, that's for sure. And now you have a pivot if you need another one.
Definitely.
No, but Danny, I really appreciated our conversation. Anything we didn't talk about you want to...
Look, you mentioned hiring.
Yes, I did.
And I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, before I started, I heard a lot about, VCs. I heard.
Yeah.
Actually, VCs did tell me.
Yep.
Danny, you need to hire senior people. You need C-level. You need, and you need to pay these big salaries for these very senior people to join your company. You need people who know better than you.
Mm-hmm.
I never agreed with that, and I never did that. I'm a strong believer of, hire and grow people from within the company. What's your take on that? There's no right and wrong. What's your take on that? I've seen startups succeed like this and like that.
That's a very fair question. I think we're probably opposites with that. So I come from the background that when I did my research, I felt like startups doesn't hire enough seniors in the beginning. They get encouraged to be like the hustle culture of do it with a couple of developers in a garage, right?
Yeah.
So they don't hire managers, they don't hire things. So first the founder get burned out because he's doing so many things in the beginning. They centralize too much information. So now it's very hard for anyone to grow within the company because there is one head managing everything, right?
That sounds like me.
That is fair. And I mean, let me not deny centralization is powerful, right? Yeah. Bird's eye view and stuff. But I felt like I'm a person that admire complexity, but also it can drive me crazy. So I really believe in distributed systems kind of situation. So I hired a lot of seniors and middle management early enough. But I will be honest that our product is a product that is not MVP safe. We work in payment and infrastructure, so it has to be production ready from day one. So you kind of need expertise in the room because it can't break. So you need many people to yell at you when you're about to put companies at risk and stuff. You want someone to tell you no, we should not do this and we should not do that and have it collectively. But I also admire flat structures and young talent as well. So I kind of really like what you're doing, but I went a little bit opposite about it. Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's and I personally enjoy hiring a lot. It's one of the things that I take a lot of pride in doing it. We headhunt exclusively. We we rarely open the positions, and I do exactly like you. Like it's usually managed by me, and it's a lot of fun, but it has this part in which like you're feeling slightly bad as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, what can you do? Yeah.
Cool.
No, thank you for asking me that. That was
Yeah, I'm always curious
yeah.
I've accepted that there's no right and wrong, and
Yeah.
nobody can tell you to do something in the right way. And it all depends on the person. And like you said, like you're in an industry that requires, you can't launch an MVP, which is true in payments.
No, and DNA wise as well. I mean, if you are that competitive, I mean, I love sports. Anyone that is that competitive in sports, like other players that like follows them easily, right? Like because they drive you out of the game into a winning thing, versus like I'm not that competitive, so I'm more about like coordination and consensus and things like that. So like also with the difference in DNA, like things will work for us differently. Like, but I watched it like there is a documentary about Michael Jordan and like his level of unforgiveness and like
I've watched it.
Yeah, it's because once you talked about your competitiveness, I kind of remembered immediately him. He's for me this kind of like unforgiving level of discipline and focus, and I like admire this about you as well. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, 100%.
I think this chat has just given me like a huge amount of excitement to just go back to the office right now.
Awesome.
and do more of just being able to talk about this is it was really nice.
That's the goal. Like we really wanted a channel for emerging market founders to kind of like show what's going on, because there is a lot going on and there is really exciting people like yourself like that. The ecosystem gonna hear about more from them. Let's put it this way. So I'm congrats on graduating and more graduations coming.
Thank you.
Inshallah. And thanks a lot for being with us, Dani.
Thanks for having me.